I think something that need to be said that I don't hear being said all that often is that the institution of white supremacy would have never lasted as long as it had if it hadn't been for the assistance of black collaborators, meaning the coon. We also nowadays see a rise in the melanated tether class assisting in white supremacy as well. But I think it all reverts back to my initial statement, being that the institution of white supremacy would have never lasted as long as it had if it hadn't been for the help of black collaborators. See, every time we as black folks, tried to get something going in terms of resistance movements, black empowerment movements, it was brought down from the inside out on behalf of the white power structure. Case in point, every time our warrior classes, FBA brothers and sisters tried to get some kind of uprising, slave revolt or slave rebellion, done on that plantation, to gain their freedom and take control of their own narrative, them plans were brought to a halt, sadly and unfortunately, by a black skinned, collaborator to the system of racism, white supremacy. See, they told all their plans to someone they thought that was on code with them, but in all actuality, that black person was the farthest thing from being on code. He was a coon in all actuality. He had an I mentality. He didn't play as a team. He didn't see we. So he ran and told the plans back to massa, and unfortunately it got our brothers and sisters' plans of gaining that freedom derailed, because he was hoping, the coon now we talking about, he was hoping on gaining some perks, set aside the tangibles for himself and a seat at the table for himself, which he had never had. Then they got guys like William O'Neill, who was a traitor to the black community, running around out there, who was working on behalf and in conjunction with the FBI, because he caught some little petty case and a little crime, and he didn't want to go, serve his jail time. So like a coward, he became informant, and got, a seat at the table in the Black Panther Party, Chicago, and became they head of security, and he was the coward that gave the coon that gave the blueprint and the layout to where brother Fred Hampton was laying his head at the end of the night. So this ultimately got our brother Fred Hampton killed. See, the thing I'm trying to put out in this video, the message I'm trying to put out there, family, is that the system of racism, white supremacy ain't that strong. It has to have, to a certain degree, there's things it can't do. So it has to have, melanated collaborators, black collaborators, we calling them, to, help and gain and lend them assistance on the matter, because there's things that they can't do by themselves. They need the help of black skin collaborators. And this is not to take the focus off of systematic white supremacy neither, because we always got to keep our eyes on that aspect. We can never downplay the role of systematic white supremacy. We can't afford to. It's a brutal and heinous system that needs done away with quick, fast, and in a hurry. And they do dominate and control, all areas of activity, throughout this world. Ain't no region left untouched that white supremacy really doesn't dominate. So my goal ain't to, downplay systematic white supremacy, because it certainly does exist, but it's a flimsy system, and it couldn't existed as long as it had without the help of black skin collaborators. Just my thoughts on the matter, but the system of racism, white supremacy could have never lasted as long as it had and gotten as far as it had without the help of the black collaborators. Peace.